So, how's life, man?
Uh, just tired. Some difficult times going on right now, but doing the best I can.
Yeah. Where are you at these days?
Um, right now I'm in like Minneapolis, so
Okay. Are
yeah,
you like what part of Minneapolis are you in? Because I saw you moved here a while ago.
yeah. So
And
I'm in a
then,
suburb. I'm in a suburb of it. I'm in Burnsville.
okay. Okay.
Yeah,
So you're down by Vernon Neal and them.
yeah,
Okay. Cool. Where are you working out these days? I see you with Sammy and all them at 952 all the time.
yeah. Yeah, I've been pretty much there, nowadays like just we have a home gym that I go
Okay.
to and do some workouts there.
Nice. I see you doing all the rowing intervals that Michael gets to send you.
Yeah, I've been waiting to work with Michael for a while, so just like financially, I had to afford it. So yeah, he's helping me out with my working on my weaknesses.
Yeah. He's a cool dude, man.
Yeah, I like him a lot. I remember when I first met him a couple years ago. I was like, oh, I like this guy.
Yeah, he said that, well, at camp, he said he saw you sleeping in your car at Granite Games.
Yeah, well, I had this YouTube video out, my first time volunteering, and yeah, the video was like, oh yeah, how I slept in my car and everything, and Granny Games like pretty much retweeted it or mentioned it, and they shared it, and like yeah, a lot of people know me from that. So, and
Okay.
I guess he was one of them.
And then he just got a hold of you and stuff.
No, so then the following year at Granny Games, I actually won a free pair of victory grips, and he was working the booth, and he was like, "Hey, aren't you that guy that slept in his car last year?" I was like, "Yeah, that was me."
That's
And then
awesome.
it kind of just blossomed ever since.
Okay. So, how did this journey of fitness start for you? Or, fitness, vlogging, all this stuff?
Um, Fitness for me started, I would probably say around oof, maybe eighth or ninth grade.
Okay.
I used to get made fun of a lot being overweight. Um, and you get to the point where like, okay, enough's enough of like getting bullied for like yeah being overweight because kids are cruel.
Yeah, they are.
Kids are cruel. Like some of the stuff they say is like, damn, it sticks to you. So I got to a point where enough's enough, and then yeah, because I thought I was gonna play basketball in
Okay.
college in like seventh grade, but then I realized like I stopped growing. Then I thought I was gonna wrestle for Iowa because being from Iowa, wrestling is like our sport. Then I ended up quitting wrestling and start running track. I didn't know I was even fast until I started running, and then I got asked to play football at a high school that I went to.
Okay.
So then I ended up just running track and playing football and started taking it a little more serious when I realized like I had potential to like play athletics in college.
Okay. And then did you end up going to college for football and track too?
Yeah, so I
Sweet.
first I went to Winona State to play
Okay.
football. Yeah,
Yeah.
went to Winona State to play football. Then I ended up leaving. I transferred to Morningside in Sioux City, Iowa, just so I can like play football and run track at the same time.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Okay.
that
And
was what I really wanted to do.
awesome. Did you get to do it all 4 years?
I did it for 2 years. Yeah, two
Okay.
years,
And
and then
then is that what got you like, it's like I started in high school and then like we used to train. So I ended up not getting to play football, but they
mhm.
let me like continue working out and training with the team. And then they let me like come back and help coach like the track athletes in the fall. So like, is that what got you like really into like working out and lifting and training?
Yeah, when I realized like, oh man, like I really was want to go after it, I was like, I need to do anything I can. I was looking up different workouts all the time, like just a typical chest day, arm day type workouts. Putting in extra hours in the gym, extra hours on the track, just doing anything and like I possibly could to get the slight edge on somebody.
Okay. And what got you started in CrossFit? Like, how'd you find that?
Well, it was weird because I first saw it like in 2011.
Okay.
I first saw it in 2011. I was watching the CrossFit Games. I was just scrolling through channels late at night, and I was like, "What is this?" Because it was on ESPN. I was like, "Wait a minute, what is this?" I called my homeboy up. I'm like, "Yo, turn on ESPN real quick. Yo, what is this I'm watching?" And he was like, man, this is some crazy stuff we're watching. I ain't trying to cuss on your thing. This is some crazy stuff we're watching. Like, what is this? And I was like, I don't know. So I just kept watching and watching. And then that kind of like, after I watched it for a little bit, it kind of faded away in the background. But it always kind of stuck with me a little bit. And then when I went to basic training, they said, oh, if you want to keep up, you know, CrossFit's always a good thing. I was like, man, there was that CrossFit stuff again. Didn't really think too much about it. And then it was 2017 when I finally decided to walk away from football and track. I was like, man, I'm gonna try this CrossFit thing out. Just to try it out. So it was the week of the games. So almost every year around the games is a new anniversary for me for when I started CrossFit.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
and I've been liking it ever since.
Okay. And then what gym did you start in Sioux City? Because one of the guys that used to coach at the gym I was at, his fiance and him went there all the time. I can't remember the name of it.
CrossFit Bayo.
That's
CrossFit
it.
Bayo.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you know Travis Evgen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I know Travis. Yeah.
Okay.
He opened his own gym.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know Travis.
Okay.
There's another gym in Sioux City, CrossFit Sucks, or CrossFit Sioux City, but yeah, it's CrossFit Sucks.
Okay.
Kind of a nice play on the Sioux City vibe. So.
Okay. And then what brought you up here to Minnesota after that?
Job opportunities, and just trying myself around some new athletes, maybe get some new coaching, advance my level of CrossFit up a little bit.
Okay.
Trying to be a better athlete, be more competitive.
Awesome. And are you enjoying 952 so far and all the athletes there?
Yeah, enjoying it a lot. Lots of programming. I love the programming, actually. Pat does a really good job of that. Yeah, I'm enjoying it, and it's definitely different. I'm not really used to like 15-minute workouts, so my body's getting used to that a lot, and that's one thing I've grown a lot in is like going the long haul and come to the workouts.
Okay. And then what got you into like filming and making all your YouTube stuff? Because I think they're awesome.
That started. Okay, so that also started with the military a little bit.
Okay.
At the end of basic training, drill sergeants go bold and they tell you like, "Hey, you did a good job. You're a great soldier. You're gonna be awesome." My drill sergeant told me, "You're very timid and you don't take chances. And you don't stay outside your shell." I was like, "Oh, thanks."
Thanks, man.
So thanks. So then I was actually in an accounting internship, and in my cubicle, and I was looking at I was on YouTube a little bit, and I was first saw this Logan Paul guy. I'm like, man, this guy literally just filmed himself having fun and doing things. And I was like, that seems pretty easy enough. And I realized I was going to live in Italy for a little bit. I was going to do a semester in Italy.
Okay.
So I went to Best Buy and then got a GoPro, and it kind of started from there, honestly.
Okay.
And with that, it was like I was able to start taking more chances and getting outside my comfort zone a little bit, and realize I really like filming and editing and getting to tell people stories. That's also what I really like about my videos. I like to tell other people's stories.
Awesome. That's awesome. And now today you get to share your own, which is fantastic.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So growing up, who did you look up to? Who were the idols you had growing up? Stuff like that inspired you, I guess.
I would 100% say my mom.
Okay.
And my grandma, actually. Because my grandma, she kind of raised me more than my mom did, just due to the fact that my mom was working. She's a single parent, working 3 jobs and going to school, raising 3 kids. So my grandma had to step in a lot of places, and that's that work ethic of getting it done and doing what you need to do. I got that from my mom. And then on just the loving side of things, I got a lot of that from my grandma. But my mom always made sure she let us know that she cared about us, and she doesn't mean to do this, but she's doing it for the long haul for us.
Okay.
So I appreciate that a lot.
That's awesome. And you answered the work ethic question along in there too, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I got that from my mom and Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace. I got that from Kobe Bryant a lot.
Yeah.
And I heard about the story about him, like just all the training he would do, and he wouldn't leave until like he made like 100 free throws or something like that. I was like, yeah, that man has it.
Yeah. Like
That's what I want.
we like I was at game day Eau Claire
Mm-hmm.
and this past year in January and like my brother is hanging out and he's going into his senior year of high school right now and he was
Right.
like second team all conference and stuff and like he's a huge Kobe fan and he gets a text message. He's like, "Hey, Dano." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "My girlfriend just texted me. Kobe Bryant just died." And I was like, "What in the world?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'll be right back." And like went and called her to make sure. He's like, "I don't know what's going on, man." I was like,
Yeah, when I first heard about the news, like I was at work and a customer told me like, "That's weird. Kobe Bryant just died." I was like, "What?" Like that just
"Yeah,
seems like a clickbait type thing you see on like Google or somewhere, like a tabloid. I'm like, no way. So I literally interrupt. Like I was like, "I'm sorry, you guys. I gotta go check this." And then the count because I remember he just posted about like LeBron passing him in all-time scoring. I'm like, he was just like on
yeah,
social media. So how in the world did he just die? And yeah, so that was heavy. And then found out his daughter was with him. Ah, GG.
yeah." My little brother's like, "I don't believe it. It's probably not a thing." And then like he came back 5 minutes later. He's like, "It's a thing. It's all over the internet." And I was like, "Oh, well, that's not good."
Yeah, that one definitely hurt. Just like the whole sports fitness world, like that hurt a lot, actually.
Yeah, yeah. And now the NBA is canceled until like who knows when.
Exactly. Oh man. This sucks because that's the only time I really started watching basketball is like during the playoff time. Because that's when it gets serious.
Yeah. I don't think I've watched a regular season game in the last like 4 years. I just watch playoffs.
Exactly. That's yeah. Who's your team?
I've been a Bulls fan my whole life because I grew up in Southwest Wisconsin. So
Right,
your choices are the Timberwolves, the Milwaukee Bucks, or the Bulls.
right.
And I was born in '92. So I was always a Michael Jordan fan as a child. So it's like, I was going to be a Bulls fan forever.
Yeah. I'm a Bulls fan as well. I'm
Okay.
definitely a Bulls fan. So yeah. I
Okay.
feel you on that one.
Yeah. Although I do have a Kevin Garnett jersey from like 2000. And
Oh,
I was like, I have this. And now I live in Minneapolis. Like, I don't know who wants this, but it'd be insane.
yeah, I have a Tracy McGrady one because that was my guy growing up too. Tracy McGrady.
Okay.
Him
Yeah.
and Vince Carter.
Did you watch The Last Dance yet?
I've been watching a little bit of it. Yeah, like it's like I guess like 'cause I was so young, I didn't really realize the Michael Jordan effect. But then like seeing The Last Dance, you get to see like how much of a global phenomenon this guy was, and it was like, wow, that's a blessing and a curse. You
Yeah.
had to see like, the curse side of things.
Like I am thankful to have like a bunch of like older male cousins. So
Mm-hmm.
like my parents are a lot younger than their older siblings. So like I have cousins that have children the same age as my younger brother.
Right.
So like growing up, like it was all they talked about was like sports, right? So like we have a VHS recording of the 1992 NBA All-Star game and I was like, this was recorded before I was born, but
Wow.
we're going to watch it anyways. So it was all Bulls, all Michael Jordan growing up, like nothing else.
Yeah, Michael Jordan was the man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Scottie Pippen too. Scottie Pippen too. That was I didn't realize how big of like an effect he had for Michael Jordan. Also,
Yeah. It's like Batman and Robin.
exactly.
So what are some of your future plans now, Will? What are you trying to work on even during like COVID and everything else that's going on right now?
Well, I've been honestly just trying to attack my weaknesses during this time.
Okay.
Endurance, like, yeah, endurance is probably one of the best things or one of the worst things for me. Like growing, like even though I'm a sprinter, like I still like battle with running anything pretty much over 800. So I found a running coach, been knocking that out,
Okay.
working with that, and then also with picking up Mike Vespa, been helping out with like my uh, my endurance, like on the rower or on the bike, and implementing different movements in there and working on intervals and getting my times down so I can be more confident on a rower or on a air bike. So I've been definitely doing that. And then I was looking forward to like game day or granted games. It looks like next I'm probably going to look forward to the Dakota games.
Okay.
Hopefully that still goes on. But yeah, I'm trying to be more a little more competitive a little bit, help my
Okay.
confidence out.
Awesome.
That's the main reason why, because it's yeah.
Awesome. And then what's the future plan for the YouTube channel? Like surpass the Buttery Bros and Craig Ritchie?
Oh, of course. No, see, I honestly like, I don't know. It just comes to me like when I go to like these big events, like the games and like Wadapalooza. Like it's kind of cool, like getting like perspectives of like the volunteers. And one thing I like about my YouTube channel is like you get to see how everybody ended up at the same result because there's so many different reasons why people join the great sport of CrossFit. So and it's like it's amazing. Like I've interviewed like I don't know 30 plus people on why they started CrossFit, and it's always a different answer.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it. But hopefully, my goals are like for the channel is to keep growing, keep telling more stories. Hopefully, get more global with it. So then, like, I can interview somebody in China of why they started CrossFit, and yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably the ultimate goal.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah.
Then have you been doing any reading or anything during this time? Like what books would you recommend for people to start reading right now?
Yeah, I have some of my favorite books, like The Alchemist. I like that one a
Okay.
lot. The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. That's another good one. But some of my top favorites also include like Black Like Me or The New
Okay.
Jim Crow. Those I feel like even like especially going on right now, like those two books are like very important. Like just for people to read and like just to self-educate themselves on what's all going on in
Okay.
the world right now. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'd love to hear your take if you're willing to share on what's going on like across the country and across the world scene as it started in our backyard.
Yeah, that's the crazy part, seeing like how global this guy just based in Minneapolis. Yeah, so it pretty much started like a week ago with George Floyd murdered by Minneapolis the police department. Um, but for somebody like me, like it's just hashtag another hashtag, and yeah, uh, it's it's always tough. It's always tough when you see somebody that looks like you, like fall or die, and the world really doesn't care, turns a
Mm-hmm.
blind eye, or kind of makes an excuse of why it happened to you. You know, even going back to like Rodney King, and like he was pulled over for drunk driving. I do not condone drunk driving whatsoever, but after seeing that video and like seeing all those officers like get off for it, it's like, okay, that like that just doesn't seem right whatsoever. So then and you have to see that time and time and time and time and time again. And to the point, it's like I think George Floyd was the straw that broke the camel's back. Because it's like so it's 2020 and like people just feel like enough's enough. Like you know, Martin Luther King marching for like equality, civil rights, and people like to quote Martin Luther King, but it's the fact that that was 60 years ago and we're still fighting the same reason. We have technology and we've like surpassed what anybody would have thought. Like I mean, except for flying cars, we've surpassed all ideas of technology. And we can do all this stuff, but when it comes to like racism, it's like been very slow to like try to make any progress for it. And yeah, and like I don't condone the looting, I don't condone any of that, but it's also it gets to a point where it's like, what do you expect? Like for example, when Kaepernick kneeled, that was very peaceful. That was his platform. He wanted to like represent, like he wanted to like show like his brutality and what was going on. People were like non-receptive to that. They're like, oh, this is wrong. This is not supportive to the troops. But to me, it was like people are choosing not to listen because he didn't say that whatsoever. He brought the vet on that encouraged him, how about you kneel instead of sit during the national anthem? People tried the peaceful protest, the marching, and then it gets to a point where it's like, okay, you can't keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. So I don't know. If you back somebody up into a corner, like, what do you expect them to do all the time? And I'm not trying to play the victim card or anything like that, but it's like, I don't condone it, but I'm also not surprised something like this happened.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Like, it goes back to the whole saying, like, hurt people.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
If you hurt someone, like, over and over and over again, something's going to happen.
Yeah, and that's what, and I kind of see that's what we're seeing right now. And I'm actually like I said, I wasn't surprised when it happened, and most often than not, it's not going to be the last time we see somebody fall victim to police brutality. Now I feel like more people are going to step up to it because now I feel like it's kind of been heard. Like me personally, like I've like had encounters with police starting when I was 8, and the kids like now, like looking back, a lot of stuff like my mom instilled in me makes a lot of sense. Like when you go into a store, leave your hands out your pockets, hoodie off, don't look at anything too long, don't hold anything for too long, get what you need, get in and get out the store, be polite, always have a smile on, don't come off too intimidating almost because somebody can get the wrong impression.
Yeah.
Be justified.
One of my friends posted on Facebook this morning, and like him and I grew up playing sports together, right. And like he's a big dude. He's a 6'6" black guy that's like he's a doctor, but like if you didn't see him in his lab coat and you just saw him out and about, like he said it himself, people might think he's intimidating. But like he's one of the nicest, coolest dudes I've ever met.
Yeah,
it's like one of those things. A big like, teddy bear.
Yeah, it's like we have to be to like like we're not intimidating, we're not like we're human just like everybody else, care like everybody else, we hurt like everybody else. So yeah, it's tough. It's definitely tough, and honestly, it's been mentally exhausting this last week. I just started eating solid foods like on like what was it? Sunday nights when I first had solid food again in like days because I just couldn't keep anything down. I just hadn't had an appetite for so long.
Gotcha.
Because everything that's going on.
Yeah. And like
it's tough.
Yeah, and just to see like this thing, like obviously it's not just one thing, like it's just been built up over the years, but like to see it finally like break was like okay, like we should have handled this a long time ago, guys. Like stop being assholes.
Yeah. And I think this whole police brutality thing, like it hurts for me being that like ever since I was super young, being a cop used to be like the coolest job ever. That's why like Bad Boys 2 is like my favorite movie. Seeing Will Smith and Martin Lawrence as cops was like, oh man, like, and then going back to like Family Matters, like I wanted to be a cop for the longest time. Like when I went to Winona State, like I started my degree in criminal justice law enforcement. So I can like eventually work my way up to SWAT. But then everything's going on now and it's like, I've been like, oh man, do I really want to be a cop? Like, it doesn't seem like it holds the same weight as it used to be, and like I'm still going after the law enforcement field. That's what I'm going. Okay. I started grad school.
Yeah, I saw that. Congrats, man.
Thanks. Yeah, I started grad school in intelligence and national security, but hopefully work my way to the FBI. That's the ultimate goal. But
dude, I got you. I have contacts that work in the FBI.
Yeah, I might need
I
I was
got
want
you.
to interview him just to double check, like, that's the route I want to take.
Okay. Yeah, there's the FBI location in Minnesota is like a mile from my house, not even
Right?
in Brooklyn Center. And one of the guys that works there came and was one of my athletes up in Ham Lake.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, dude, I'm not an agent yet, but I'm training. That's why I'm here. Like, that's why I'm at CrossFit right now. So I can like take the agent test. And I was like,
I know that's what I'm saying.
oh, sweet, man. Oh, all right.
What about you? What are your takes on this whole situation?
I think it's shit. Like, like I grew up in a very rural Wisconsin town, like 4,500 people. So we didn't have a lot of diversity, right? Because it's like farmland.
Yeah.
But I was blessed with the fact that I grew up going to a church where a family adopted 17 kids, and like the majority of them are Black.
Mm-hmm.
And so like growing up, most of my like best friends were Black. So like they're just humans, right? And so like I don't see them any differently. They're like, I grew up playing sports with them, hanging out, going out to restaurants. Like they played hockey, and like it's Wisconsin. So like we all played hockey, right? And so like growing up, I didn't see them as like a different color. I just saw them as my best friends, right?
Right.
So, and then like when I was in high school, we ended up having some kids from the foster home come over and started going to the high school, right? And they were like the coolest dudes ever. Like they just like were chill. They hung out. We didn't like, all we did was play sports and watch music videos. Like we didn't do anything crazy, right?
Right.
So like when I saw it, like, I was just like murder's murder. Like it doesn't matter who does it or who they do it to. It's wrong in every way. So like I don't like the fact that they did it. And as soon as they did it, I was like, well, something's gonna happen. Like the world's on edge anyways. So I also don't condone the looting, but like I said earlier, like hurt people are gonna hurt people. But
I was actually, I'm gonna lie, I'm pretty surprised that the officer even got convicted.
Yeah, I'm super glad he did. Like I saw the like news and I screenshotted it and I sent it to my wife. I was like, hey, he got convicted. This is fantastic. It's like, look at this.
I was like, wow. Because, you know, you have like I was in basic training when like George Zimmerman got off, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
That one hurt. Or you have Tamir Rice, like a 12-year-old boy playing cops and robbers. Nothing happened there. Sandra Bland, Eric Gardner. Like the list goes on, and like, and it's like I said, the same result. So like when it happened, I was like, oh, snap! Like, not to say like, oh man, like, not to saying the rioting was good, but it seems like the correct action came from it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like,
that
I'm not saying
makes
like
a lot of sense.
Yeah, like the correct action finally had it because like it wasn't just like minorities that were saying this is wrong. It was like now we see it's like a global thing that's saying, yo, this is wrong. It's 2020. We shouldn't be having the same issues that we did 30, 60 years ago.
Yeah. And like they showed, there's a picture, well, anything can be taken on the internet and proved as wrong or right. But there's a photo, it showed like all 50 states and it said all 50 states have now had protests in like after the George Floyd stuff that happened. I was like, oh, well, Alaska's full of white people. So like, obviously this hits home for everyone. It's like,
right. I was surprised. The thing that I knew like this really hit is when the Amish people showed up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like the Amish didn't do anything for COVID. And
yeah, I was like, okay, once the Amish show up, drop the mic, now you something gotta happen.
Something happens.
They come out of the woodworks. somebody got their horse double parked. Like they came to support.
Like I went back to my parents' house a couple times during COVID, and like they still live in the same small town, and there's
Right.
Amish everywhere. I didn't see any Amish people wearing a mask.
They're like, wait, there's a pandemic going on. Like they didn't know about that, but and it sucks because like it was so big because it like overthrew even like oh, by the way, we also went to outer space, but
Yeah, like
it
we
was
went to
definitely
outer space.
necessary.
COVID's over now, apparently.
Yeah, because like that's his 2020 has been a rough year.
Yeah. There's a Joe Rogan had a bit a long time ago. So I'm very big into stand up. Like it's one of my favorite like pastimes. And Joe Rogan had a bit about how like aliens would be watching the universe. And I was like, that's fantastic. It was like, yeah, no, they would be hating it right now. They'd be like, what is going on with the world? And then
they'll come down to earth and be like, yeah, we're here to take. Oh, never mind. Y'all are already like fucking up everything. We're good. Like,
yeah,
never mind.
and like, do you know who Neil Brennan is?
Mm-mm.
So Neil Brennan is the co-writer and co-creator of the Dave Chappelle Show.
Oh, love Dave Chappelle.
And so Neil Brennan has this joke where he's like, the aliens come down and they're talking to everyone and they see what's going on and they're like, what is going on? And they're like, oh, I don't know. And they're like, well, why are you guys being so bad to everybody? And then they goes on to explain it. And he's like, hasn't anybody ever told you like to do nice to others? And he's like, well, there's this one guy back in like 2,000 years ago. And then his name was Jesus. And then there's this other guy named Martin Luther King. And he said the same thing. Oh, well, what'd you guys do to them? And like, oh, that's right. We're assholes.
I never even thought of it like that.
Like two people in the entire world said, be nice to everybody. And well,
they're gone.
They're gone. So.
Oh, but man, yeah, it's definitely need to be talked about. It's definitely something like more people need to like because we don't teach it in the school, so it's like you have to self-educate. Like me, like my family's from Jackson, Mississippi, and down there it's still very, very segregated.
Yeah,
and like, which is sometimes we almost feel like it's better that it's like that than it is like up here because down there, clearly we're not to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like those lines are pretty much there, but like up north is more like you think it's all free, but then you realize, oh, like maybe you shouldn't go here to this neighborhood, or you think you get into a neighborhood that's okay and it's really not. So like I growing up, I had to learn a lot about like Black history, and my grandma taught me a lot, and that's why like like Black like me always stuck with me because it was just about this white guy that took on, like he wanted to know what it was like to be like a Black man in the South. And then mind you, this is in 1959.
Okay.
And like he like he had like a pigmentation thing going on. So he like made his skin a lot darker and darker and darker. And going to the South, he got to kind of get the full effect of what it was like during that time. So that was one thing that really stuck with, like, book that why it stuck with me for so long, because then he really got to understand, because a lot of people say that, oh yeah, I'm with you, but they don't truly understand like the daily stress about it. The daily stress, like getting pulled over for speeding could be like your last day.
Yeah.
Almost. I know. So, and then like the new Jim Crow, that was just a new book that kind of came out when it's kind of just explains the whole mass incarceration and like how it's the same system just rebranded, like war on drugs, what it really meant, but like just everything. So
yeah.
It gets exhausting, it gets very stressful, but it's something like needs to be talked about, or else we keep ignoring it. You think this is bad? Who knows what's gonna happen? We have another civil war.
Yeah. And well, that wouldn't be good. So
Not at all.
no. There hasn't been like a war on the state soil since. So and
Yeah.
now like it looked like a war scene in downtown Minneapolis.
Yes, it did.
And like I have a friend that's in the National Guard and like she got called up to be like one of like the people on duty, right? And she
Mhm.
posted that she had 1 hour of sleep in the last 55 hours. And I was like, oh, good Lord.
Yeah, I feel honestly, I feel for him. Like I'm like, man, like I know you guys do not want to be a part of this, and they probably feel like I don't know how they feel, but I'm pretty sure they're like, yo, like I'm just doing what I got called to do. Like I ain't really like
Mm-hmm.
against y'all. I'm just doing what what I'm contracted to do. So they call me, I show up.
Yeah.
Type of
And
thing.
then another one of my friends who I used to coach, she's a paramedic and works in the hospital. And she was on COVID duty for the
Oh,
longest time. And then she texted me the other day. She's like, hey, I just got transferred to the riot unit. Like I'm now going down there and to like help in case someone's hurt. And I was like, okay.
yeah, like these days.
Like, yeah, please be safe. Don't do anything stupid. Like,
One thing I do, I wish the media was showing more of like how peaceful the protests have actually been. Because
yeah,
I've been to a couple. With my cousin, make sure she's safe, and you're like they're surprisingly peaceful. It's just people. You get there and it's just people hurting and like just tired of it. But like during daytime, nobody's looting, nobody's rioting, nobody's. People just hurt and just
yeah,
finally want to be heard. That's all it is. So
and
shame on you, media.
yeah, like show the good stuff for once.
Yeah,
Which,
but I do
like,
appreciate. Oh, keep going. Sorry.
no, it's all good. I was just gonna say I saw a lot of pictures this morning already on like people's Instagram stories of like peaceful stuff. So at least it's starting to crawl into the spaces.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I also appreciate everybody that reached out, just see how like I'm doing or everybody reaching out to each other to make sure like, hey, I don't understand what you're going through, but like I'm here for you if you need anything and like if you could like just self-educate like or educate me on like what is actually going on, like what it's like and how can I help. Like I appreciate that from everybody. So
Yeah, and that's another reason why I wanted you on here because I knew you'd have a bunch of stuff to say and you could shed some light on how it's going, like how you're feeling, like your perspective and stuff too.
I
And
definitely
then
feel like I lost friends, but it's like almost like rather lose friends and then or bury another one. Like I'd rather just lose friends than like bury another one over like something unjust.
yeah, and like everyone was posting that on social media too. They're like, if I post something and like it offends you and you unfollow me, I don't care. I don't want you here anyways.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So like if I had like a bigger platform and I posted like obviously I don't support murder, right? I want everyone that murders someone to like get convicted and go to jail, right? So like
Right.
obviously like I'm gonna probably have followers that don't agree with me and then they go away. I'm just like, I don't care. I don't need you here, right?
Exactly. Like I don't need that negative energy in my life.
Yeah.
Like I went to like Rachel's profile and I saw like she had some people that said unfollow like and big
I
capital.
know. That was
I was like,
insane.
really? Like I don't know. I just was like, good, be gone, please.
Yeah. Like
You're a piece of work, man.
another thing, like growing up, like I like admired and like all my heroes are like black guys.
Yeah.
Like Michael Jordan, Sammy Sosa, Scottie Pippen,
Right.
like like growing up, like right, like playing sports with them, hanging out with them, like just like y'all are super cool. Let's just keep doing this. I don't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah. No kidding, man. No kidding. It's. Yeah, people get that offended. Yeah, I don't need you in my life.
And like my brother is on last year he played AAU wall
Right.
and like he played for the team in lacrosse.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully he got bumped up to the junior squad instead of the sophomore squad as a sophomore. He was one of 2 white guys on the team. And like his coach is a former like Detroit Piston.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, this is cool. And like I went to a couple of his games and tournaments, and I was just hanging out with everyone. I was like, well, this is fun. Jacob, how's it going? He's like, this is the coolest team I've ever been on. I was like,
yeah, we're not so bad. We like to have lots of fun.
and it helps that my brother's 6'4" as a 17-year-old and can just dunk standing there.
Oh man, is he getting looked at by any schools?
He got one offer last year as a sophomore, but AAU ball got canceled this year, and he was supposed to go to Florida next week for basketball camp, but they just canceled that. So he's coming up on his senior year, and he'll probably get a bunch of offers. So he wants to come here in Minnesota. So
like pay for like the U, or
he wants to play for the U. Like if he could get a scholarship in Minnesota, he'd play for the U.
Right.
But right now we're just hoping to get him a little bigger because he weighs like 170.
Oh yeah.
So he's a little scrawny. But
yeah. He'll do it. I think he can do it.
Yeah, he's the only one out of myself and my other 2 brothers that doesn't have anything in his legs, so he can go as far as he wants.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Best of luck to him, man.
Yeah. So what else would you like to chit chat about? We got, I don't know how much time you have today. What else would you like to get off your chest, talk about more of your story?
I really don't have much. I'm always open to open questions, but yeah, on my end, feels kind of good to like finally let it all off a little bit.
Okay. And
I'm coming.
I'm white as all get out. So I'm only gonna guess X on your hat, DMX, maybe.
It's Malcolm X.
Okay, that was my second guess. But
Malcolm X. Yeah. And then on the back is kind of, it means by any means necessary. That was kind of like his big thing. A lot of people like kind of have like the assumption Malcolm X that he was like a really like not like a very violent guy, while like Martin Luther King was like non-violent. And I'm not saying that's completely not true, but he was just very like, he was like, yo, that passive approach is not working. So something else needs to happen. So he was like, how about we just go back to our ways, and, you know, like, you guys worry about yourself, we'll worry about us, and that'll be that. He addressed the issue, but he wanted to get to the same conclusion. It's just a different way than Martin Luther King. That's all.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I don't have any other questions. I guess I do. Where could people find you? Like YouTube channel, Instagram, Facebook, website, all that good stuff.
My YouTube channel is Willie G TV, WILLY space G space TV. Same with on Facebook, or just Facebook Will Griffin.
Okay.
My Instagram is _Will_Griff_. So yeah, that's pretty much where you find me. Always open, always willing to talk. If anybody wants to truly know like about like race relations or like social injustice, then I'm always willing to talk to somebody. What I won't do is like waste my words.
Yeah.
Like if you truly want to like have like a conversation about it, or you want to know more or like understand it more, I'm always willing to talk about that. But if you just want to argue about it or say like, no, but what about this point? And then like, oh, Chicago, black on black crime, it's like kind of lost me. And like, I got way more important stuff to do right now than like go back and forth and like, waste my time.
Okay. Well, thanks, man.
Yeah.
It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome.